Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So anyone who's been following the Maricopa County FrAudit in Arizona, you've heard of cyber ninjas. They're the completely partisan Q-Loon-led company that was brought in to run this scam to try to prove that systemic and widespread voter fraud are responsible for Biden's win in that state. But a lesser known player in this FrAudit is Wake Technology Services, Inc., Wake TSI for short. Wake TSI is a Pennsylvania-based company, and they were brought in as a subcontractor to establish the process to conduct the hand recount portion of this whole sham. And they're recounting over 2 million ballots for that one county alone, because apparently cyber ninjas couldn't handle that. They're too busy. They're handling their blue light specials, their Chinese bamboo paper, their 5D cameras or whatever. So Wake TSI finally said, we're out. We've had enough of the fame and attention we're receiving taking part in this democracy-saving venture. I'm assuming. That's not what they said. I'm just assuming. Because according to former Arizona Republican chair and current FrAudit spokesperson, Randy Pullen, Wake's contract ended on May 14th, and they said, peace out, we're not going to renew the contract, we're done. Pullen said, quote, they were done. They didn't want to come back. Now, it's funny because the state senator president, Karen Fann, a Republican, she says, oh no, they were done. But they weren't done. And I'll prove to you that they weren't done. They bailed for some other reason. I can't imagine why. I mean, it's so odd that they wouldn't want to continue damaging their reputation by being involved with the biggest election lie in history. It's a mystery why they would want out of that. Now, I should say, when Cyber Ninja's CEO was questioned about their preconceived ideas and their obvious Trump bias, because remember, the CEO of Cyber Ninjas wrote an entire document that he handed over to senators outlining why he thought the election was stolen. I mean, it was filled with all the same conspiracy theories and bullshit that everybody else had been spouting. But he had an obvious bias. So when he was questioned about that, he pointed to the fact that Wake TSI was literally, in his words, beyond reproach, that they were a trusted company, that their ballot counting process was, quote, beyond reproach. And he said, quote, the most important element was the hand counting, because if that was done right and transparently, it alone could restore some confidence in our election. Well, here's the problem with that. Wake TSI signed a document, it's dated December 31st, 2020, to begin their work in counting these ballots. Contained in that document, down at the bottom, were handwritten notes. They were written by the co-founder, I think is his title, of Wake TSI. Included in those notes that he wrote is the fact that they were contracted to conduct the ballot recount by a nonprofit called Defending the Republic. That's who's paying them to do this work. The person who runs Defending the Republic, this nonprofit, is none other than Trump-loving, leopard-clad Q-Loon Sidney Powell. The same Sidney Powell who said, oh, election fraud? Did I say election fraud? You'd be stupid to believe me. So she's the one who's paying Wake TSI, who's supposed to be beyond reproach. So they're no less biased than cyber ninjas. And Sidney Powell has been accused of using money from this same nonprofit to pay her legal expenses related to Dominion Voting Systems. That's the company, as you probably all know, that's suing her for over $1 billion due to her election fraud lies. So not only did we discover now that Sidney Powell is paying one of these companies to do this FrAudit in Arizona, but there was another handwritten note on the document. And Wake TSI, again, states that Republican Pennsylvania State Senator Doug Mastriano is the one who initiated the Arizona audit. He's a Pennsylvania state senator, and he initiated the audit in Arizona. So a state senator from Pennsylvania set up an audit in a completely different state on the completely opposite side of the country. Sure, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, to be fair, it may not be the whole crack in the head lady Sidney Powell thing that drove Wake TSI away, or the revelation that she's paying them. It could also be the fact that it appears that someone lied about their credentials, and now they've been caught. Because Arizona Senate President Karen Fann, again, she's a Trumplican, she was questioned about all of these companies that were coming on board. And she admitted that cyber ninjas chose these different companies, but she touted the experience of Wake TSI. She said that they had a bunch of experience regarding ballot counting. She said that Wake TSI conducted hand counts in Pennsylvania and New Mexico during this last 2020 election cycle. She also said that in 1994, the company had worked with the FBI on a voter fraud investigation. But when reporters reached out to not just New Mexico election officials, but also Republican Party officials for that state, they all said they had no idea what she was talking about. They were not aware at all of any work that Wake TSI has done in that state. And the only work that Wake TSI did in the state of Pennsylvania was at the request of the same Republican Pennsylvania state senator, Doug Mastriano. The same guy who initiated the Arizona audit also requested that Wake TSI audit the results in Fulton County, a county, by the way, that he's not elected to represent. That's not the county that he represents. It just happens to be near his district. So this guy is involved in all of these different audits that he has no relation to. And the real mystery is, why did they audit Fulton County? Trump won by a huge margin in Fulton County. It was like 85% of the vote that he got. What was the point? And as for the so-called election fraud investigation that Wake TSI worked on with the FBI, no one has yet been able to provide any details about that either. And no one will answer questions about what, if any, the ties are between Powell and Wake TSI, how it is that she came to hire them and pay for them, or if her nonprofit group is also maybe funding cyber ninjas or any other part of this FrAudit. And Republican Senate President Karen Fann, she just can't seem to recall how she ever heard of cyber ninjas. It's just a big mystery. I don't know where they came from. Now, here's another important tidbit about the FrAudit. Now that Wake TSI is out, a company called StratTech has taken over the hand recount because Wake wasn't done, as I said. That's the proof that Karen Fann is lying through her disgusting teeth. She told journalists that, oh, well, they were just done. That's why they're leaving. They're done. No, they weren't done. If they were done, no one else would need to take over their work. So StratTech has been involved. They've been involved with the FrAudit from the beginning. They've been doing other things because they weren't contracted to handle the hand recount. Now, when questioned about StratTech's credentials and their experience in this arena, The audit liaison from the state Senate said that he didn't know if they had ever been involved in a recount. He also said, which I can't believe, quote, "Nobody should be precluded from doing something the first time." Seriously? No. When the entire country is watching and you're talking about a recount that could potentially lead to a civil war or another violent domestic terrorist attack like the one we saw on January 6th, it's kind of important that they have a little experience. Call me crazy. How about you let them cut their teeth on like a midterm audit for maybe one county that isn't consequential to the state of the republic, to the emotional and physical well-being of the country. It would be nice if they kind of knew what they were doing. So the circus continues in Arizona. If Democrats had done this, imagine if after Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, if Democrats, after recount after recount, after audit, after 60 cases went to court and the judges laughed them out of court, if the Democrats just took it upon themselves, state representatives took it upon themselves to take control of voting machines and ballots and do a completely partisan fraud of an audit, oh my God, they would have lost their minds. They would be at the doors, wherever this was taking place, they would be there with guns. There would be bloodshed. I have no doubt. All right, guys, I'll let you know when and if I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.